Yeah, we got 5 inches of rain last night. Quit raining about 4 hours ago now, and I think the lake is going to be full. Yeah, there's a good reason to build this spillway like we did. Save the people downstream. Catfish's pond too after 5 inches of rain last night. And our wetlands is fully saturated again. Boy, it breached the dam. Headed out to the beaver dam. Here's where the water comes into our property off of the hills that are directly to the south. You can see the water coming down the hill here. It's already filled up the detainage pond right to the top, and then it goes into the beaver pond. Here's where the water comes in again from more towards the southeast. It comes off of this hill, and we've got a diversion wall built down there, but the water heads straight down there, and you can see the diversion wall that protects the lodge from the water coming down into the property. Far southeast corner of the property where the water comes off the property, and we got a little barrier there that prevents the any debris from coming down. But as you can see, the lake is within a foot of being full, but the dam is holding up this water and letting it go gently into the stream. And this concrete area that the county put in years and years ago used to get washed out every time we'd get a rainfall like this. 5 inches of rain last night. The lake was 4 feet down. It's 41 feet deep altogether. So it'll be full, I would suspect, within the next hour. It was within a foot of being full, and pretty soon it'll be hitting the spillway and coming down in a little larger numbers here, but in control. Alright, the rain quit about 4 o'clock this morning, but we got 5 inches. And you can see why we had to build a concrete spillway surface here. That water gets up pretty high, and the lake is probably within a foot of being full. That green pipe right over there is a marker. It ends up being a foot above the water. So I'd say we're probably an hour away, and maybe 2, and Lake Godstone is going to be right at its elevation of 1,150 feet. Established 2016. Boat dock down there, the watercraft is back up and running. Let's go down the other end and see how close we are to the spillway. Catfish pond is rescued and full again. Boy, it was pretty close to being absolutely dry in spite of us trying to pump water from the lake back up here to create this beautiful wetlands. The minnows are actually swimming around in the water here, so that's a good sign. Crayfish and frogs are going to love it in there today. This wetlands here was created just to have this amount of water in it, and it's working. So just in time, we had a lot of crayfish and frogs in there. Let's see how this retainage pond up here is doing. Actually, it's a detainage pond. I always call them retainage, but it's jammed right up. It's plenty full. Here's the water coming from our detainage ponds on the north side of the property. Water running down here. That detainage pond is being breached around the edge. So's this one. Yeah, this one's full too. Detainage pond in here for wildlife. Just a little one. It's nice and full. That'll keep our deer happy. Another detainage area that we created. Keep our deer happy. Small one. So this is the far north side of the property, and man, look at that. That detention pond is right up and full now, and looks like it's breached off to the side there, but it's being held up from going in mass down into our flood control system down there by the beaver pond, the catfish pond. It is full. North sports field. Also deer grazing area. Yeah, boy, these detainage ponds are full as well. The water is actually overflowing the culvert that's underneath the road here, and the water's flowing down the road and going into these series of detainage ponds downstream. I'd say that watering hole is plenty full. Keep our deer and other environments happy. Out here at our wilderness roost cabin. So here's our refuge campground. It's probably the highest part of the property here, close to it, and it overlooks this wildlife feed station with a watering hole, and that's our east water well there. That's what provides water to our entire campus now for drinking purposes. And yeah, this is full. Down the hill here on the far southeast part of the property, the lowest part of the property, it's 90 feet below the north side, and it's 70 feet drop from west to east. So this is where all the water heads used to wash out, and just a terrible destruction of the land. And here's where the major culverts are that go out in the property. As you can see, the lake has not hit the spillway, its spillway yet, the lower spillway, but the creek is flowing. That's just from natural water coming in. All right, so here's our lower crappie pond, and the lake, the dam is way up there. This is fed by springs. It never dries up, even during the summertime, and it's pretty much the same level that it was at yesterday. So the water hasn't started coming down here from the dam yet. Here we are arriving at the top of the dam. This is the primary spillway right here. The emergency spillway is over on that side, so you can see the water is far from hitting there. But we're probably getting pretty close. Here's where the water heads off the property, and these two 48-inch culverts have not even been hit yet by lake water, but I suspect the way the water's coming up, it's going to hit here pretty quick. Yeah, we're still, I'd say, a couple feet away before that lake's going to be up here. But once it does, it usually stays there until about June, and a nice gentle creek comes off the property, and it goes through a trickle tube that's over there underneath that emergency spillway, and that carries the water off the property, and we'll go and look at that. The far end of the lake in the upper spillway, and the water's coming in hot and heavy, as you can see, and it's headed down towards the trickle tube, which is here underneath the emergency spillway. So the trickle tube is underneath here, and it comes out right here and drains water into this area. It's already collected some rainwater, and then off down there to the crappie pond. You can see how eroded it is once that water starts coming out here, and it, like I say, it does for most of the year. There's a little concrete bridge we built, and that water heads down here and then into the crappie pond through this culvert here. And then once the crappie pond is full, which it is pretty close to now, it's going to hit these culverts here, and from there head into the southeast corner of the property. So we're still a ways away from this getting full up, but it will be today. We get a large amount of water that comes down a number of places below the lake. Like here, we had to put in this large culvert because it's just a massive amount of rainwater that comes down here and heads off the property to the southeast corner. So beside that squirrel over there, we got lots of bees, and to help the bees, we took all the mud when we pulled out the beaver pond, and we brought the mud over in here. Didn't know where else to place it, and it created another little detainage area so that our bees will have some water. Very large amount of water that comes off the property from the north of us, and it hits this. Here's another detainage pond, and it's full right up. There's a trickle tube there that takes the water back into what eventually ends up being actually the crappie pond. It doesn't even hit the lake. So all this water will just naturally go into the ground, create a nice place with vegetation for wildlife, and it'll eventually go away. Usually only stays in here for maybe 2-3 weeks, and just kind of naturally drains into the lower pond. Here's where that water goes through this culvert here, and collects over into this detainage area, which holds water for probably for 4 or 5 days after a good rain, and then just develops into a nice little creek. And down here we've got a little bubbling brook at this tent site, and it's just awesome to sit here by this fire pit and listen to this bubbling brook coming through the forest. It used to be just terribly eroded down here, so we enjoy this area a lot. So here's where we keep our watercraft for rentals to our guests. We've got one guy a little heavy this morning, but this is lake water's coming up very quickly, and this will be back to normal pretty soon, I suspect, judging from what I'm seeing here. Our sandy beach. Got another sandy beach over in there. And that's our aeration, which is working just fine. Lake aeration. If we didn't do that, it's 41 feet deep. We'd end up with fish kill. We have 8 feed stations for fish around the lake, including that dock over there and that dock over there. So before those concrete walls were up, this was just terribly eroded. We kind of had to watch what happens in the good rain, but our birds are liking this, and we got a little detainage area in here. This is our crappie pond, and it's fed by the condensate drain from our water purification system. and it actually has crayfish in there, just like in our wetlands area. Our screech owl survived this 5-inch rainfall. Here is our lake water pump that used to go up to the sports field and then back again along the way, go into our water purification plant, but we have removed that from that system altogether. And what you see here with these 3 pipes coming out is the water being pumped out of the lake up in a circular underground system and then back here, creating an aeration area. This is our lake aeration pump, which pumps air down 41 feet to the depths of the lake that we showed you earlier. All right, so here we are back at the upper spillway, the concrete spillway, and just judging by that pipe right there, that means the lake is full. When you see that water hit that pipe, it's hitting the trickle tube and going to start coming off the property. So if we get any more rain today, we're really going to have a nice little river going downstream. Bird view stations above the water. Looks like our minnow pond, our frog pond, made it just fine. It's fed by lake water being pumped into it. That lake water creates a nice little environment. The kids love coming in here and finding tadpoles and minnows and frogs. And looks like this is going to probably continue on over top of our trickle tube for quite some time. So we had to wrap these trees because our beaver was doing a job on our trees, and it was quite a lot of work. But that beaver took out quite a few of our trees. Like you can see how it took out the bark off the bottom of this one. Hopefully we saved them all, and maybe the beaver will decide to move on. Weather station. As of right now, we've had, this event was 5.11 inches. We've had 5.58 inches this week, 6 inches for the whole month, and almost 33 inches year to date. The trickle tube runs from the lake underground here, and this is where it comes out into this culvert right here, and then heads down to the crappie pond. So we have water flowing out of the lake once again. So our neighbors will be happy. This water will now be flowing back downstream, and if it's like normal, this may be flowing again for the rest of the year till next summer. To see how that goes. So the water's flowing down into the crappie pond, and it's now full, and these two 48-inch culverts are facilitating the flow of the water that's then going into the creek bed here and then off the property. Always great to see it when this creek is flowing again. Yeah, our little guys, they sure like it when this creek is flowing, don't you, buddy? Hey? Yes, sir. You can hear it going here. And that's where we go off the property, right in there. This is Wholesale Ranch Road, where the water comes off the property, and you can see it's flowing quite nicely here, nice and slow. It's not been a problem at all. I think the culvert's plugged up underneath the road here, because it usually runs under the road. But in any case, back before we bought the property, you could not drive on this road for hours and sometimes days after a big rain for the water that would come down here in massive amounts after a big rainstorm. So it's again, it's a 70-foot drop from the west side to the east side here, and a 90-foot drop from the north side down to here. So the water gets down here very quickly.